And
That
so
is true.
to me, I was like, oh, this would be totally different. And every idea I had for a game, like the journalism game, or it could be like, you could fit everything in their idea of like, Atlantis has lost all our history, help us rebuild our knowledge. I could set up like, here are 3 photographs by Ansel Adams, and here's another group of 7 photographs, and we don't know which ones also belong to Ansel Adams. Can you define the style and then choose from this group and help us decide which ones are probably Ansel Adams's photographs? And then, and that would all work without actually me learning any programming. I could just upload some pictures, maybe build a house and put some, frames in it or something. But and it, even though the purpose isn't real and they would know it is pretend.
Okay. I had a hard time getting into any of the games in this course until I got to Spore. And now I'm in trouble because I'm going to have to go buy it because I really enjoyed it. Joyce talked about on the discussion board using it in her English class and writing about the creatures and making up a story. Well, the same thing could go, and I said this in my discussion board, the same thing could go for my art class. I could use this sort of creation. You create your own character and then you write about it because, again, going back to administration, they like that when a non-core teacher, when you incorporate core subjects. It's a big deal. So, and that's a really fun, easy way to do it. And I really enjoyed making those creatures. I made 3 because I had so much fun in it. And so now I have to go buy the game because there's lots more that you could do with it that wasn't available for the trial. So,
Graham would like to interject.
Sure.
So I'm gonna spur off of that discussion because I would use build a spore creature in my 3D modeling classes. So if they were using Alias or Maya, they could build a creature in Spore and have to make this same creature using NURBS or Metaspheres or all the other tools that are in the programs I teach.
Right. Okay, our next question is, how do you think you'll change your classroom practices to include gaming? Graham, why don't we start with you?
Well, I'm a corporate trainer, so I'm trying to figure out how, as a corporate trainer, I would use these games to be able to teach the people that I teach. So I don't have a good answer right now.
Graham, I will tell you, I've done corporate training. I taught hospital administrators how to configure their billing software from the backside to enhance their revenue cycle, if you can imagine that. And yes, it was hideous, and I much prefer what I do now. But it would be so boring all week, and they accepted that because they expected education to be boring. But we did a Jeopardy game on the last day, and I know, our professor hates that kind of stuff where it's not like true gaming, but even still, these people came alive for the first time. They went from zombie state to, we had they had to take an exam. They had to get certified in the software, so it was actually a high-stakes test. But we reviewed for it with this Jeopardy game on Teams, and all of a sudden, everyone's competitive nature came out, and they were all leaping out of their, for some of them it was the first time I saw personality the whole time. So, these particular games probably don't have a use for you, but if there's some way you could do something like it. And I know that banks, now I don't know if they still do this, but there were some banks that bought an island and they installed ATMs, and actually this is why there's ATMs in Second Life now. It came from a Citibank or something. They made their own practice island. They installed ATMs, and they kind of had people mimic the way they might go get money in real life to, I don't know what the big Uber goal was, but they did set up their own deal in Second Life and run game kind of things in there. So, if you're, go ahead.
So, I think a lot of people have the misperception that these games that people play are tools of the devil.
Right.
But once they get to play Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, things that they see every day on TV, then they accept gaming. So I hadn't thought about using Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or those type of TV games. So that's a great point.
Get that chicken. I'm killing.
Well, I kind of already talked about mine with the spore and how I could use that within. It would be really easy to integrate into my arts. And also something else I'd like to say is we have Glee.
We move on.
Well, I just wanted to say, not about Spore. Although I enjoyed Spore, it really is not so much in my subject area, so I wasn't inspired in the same way y'all were. But I did find that, the first time I came, for example, into RuneScape, what I found kind of inspiring about this was what almost I would call a holistic view that, especially as a woman, now maybe the guys didn't experience this, they're fighting dragons where we had to chop wood and we had to cook fish and we had to bake bread, and really it sort of looked at life skills. And one of the things that really tickled me was the fact that nutrition is considered important in a virtual world, that by eating you can restore some of your health. And I just thought that is a wonderful.
Every state, I'm sure, has state standards or uses national standards. Yeah. Ours are called GLEs, grade level expectations. Right. And this, the sport creator would actually meet one of my GLEs that I have a really hard time covering because it's hard for me to get Photoshop on computers for 1 or 2 assignments for the whole year.
Right, right.
And so this is a free something I could download, and the kids get on there, and it could all get with one of my standards that I actually know. In some of my smaller classes that had about 6 people, I have. But in my bigger classes, it was just too much to try to get everyone on one computer, So this would actually work for meeting standards for me.
That's great. That's awesome.
I use a couple of right now, kind of like an instrument bingo game where they hear the instrument and they have to, play bingo and match the instrument with the sound that they hear. But I think for me, I just need to play more of them. Play more different types of games, either matching type games or anything like that. I think for me, technology is. I think it would be easier to incorporate the non-technological game.
Amy?
Play more different types of games, either matching type games or anything like that. I think for me, technology is. I think it would be easier to incorporate the non-technological games than anything with technology.
Right. Amy, I think you actually mentioned the game thing you would do. Are there any
my educational practices for this class? But I took the role-playing idea. We just don't have the technology, to be really honest, to make this work at our school. The role thing, and the reason I liked it was because it's so simple to do, and just I think any teacher wants to put their kids in place and give them some background knowledge and talk to them about where they are and choices and decisions. So that's probably one of the only things I would use, because we can't get on anything else, and the computers are spotty, and I don't have them at my disposal all the time.
Right.
Which is a shame.
Good.
What I would change, my advice kind of plays off of our other classes that we've had.
Right.
Because it seems like in a lot of the courses, the information is the same from month to month to month. It doesn't change. And, we're in this technology program, and it would be nice if, as things changed, as technology changed and new games came out, new whatever came out, that, everything was up to date. Now, he may already do this. I am just basing this off of some of the previous classes that we've had.
Sure.
Because I've noticed that, some of the dates were exactly the same and as the month before, and things weren't changed. But that would just be my advice for every professor in this program, because it just seems very important for us to be as up to date as we possibly can, just because everything is changing. Each month there's something new out there. And I just think it's very important to keep up on those things.